In 1998, The Truman Show was released as science fiction. Truman Burbank was adopted as a child by a production company, and they created reality TV. Christof, the director, was in charge of the mind control, controlled every emotion that Truman Burbank experienced throughout his life, but it was just reality, and it was aired throughout television. Sylvia, one of the extras on the show, became his true love, but his actual stand-in wife, who was an actress, Meryl, didn't like the fact that he had fallen in love with an extra. But Christof, the director in charge of mind control, controlling all of his emotions with all of these extras and actors, was living in a fantasy city, in a dome, much like San Francisco behind me. Christof controlling the mind is much like companies are doing with us, as highlighted in The Voice Catcher by Joseph Turow. They're talking about voice profiling and recognition and the challenges with that and how they drive the almighty dollar in marketing. But the issues that are of concern are privacy, emotional health, identity theft, third-party usage, continuous listening, and ultimately children's privacy. So let's talk a little bit about privacy and the privacy piece. Right now, on the recording device, the Apple that I'm using right now, it's listening, it's videoing, they're storing the data all the time. So what privacy do we have? How many of us actually, when reading the terms and conditions of our contracts when they release a new iOS system, actually read those terms and conditions and know what they're doing with our voice recognition and the profiling of our voice? They look at the emotional and the health aspect. They can tell whether I'm really excited or whether I'm very sad. They can monitor my health based on the projection of my voice, without us acknowledging that we have given them that information. They can use that against us, just like Christof, to control our emotions by direct marketing advertisements to us. Identity theft can be used because they can steal the data and our voice profile, our biometric profile, and use that against us. I have friends whose grandmother was notified by their grandson he was in dear trouble. He had been in a car accident. He needed money immediately. He didn't want to tell his parents, and it wasn't even the grandson. He actually was at fine, and the grandmother was about ready to send $10,000 because the biometrics and mechanics of the voice had been stolen during a data breach. That's the challenge with identity theft. Third party, it could be sold. They can use the data and marketing that we use and what we ask for in keyword searches to help target us through third parties. So they're actually selling our voice, our emotion, our health, our concerns, our keywords to use against us. Now, the continuous listening piece. You might have to say certain words, hey Google, items such as that. I'm using an Apple product, so I'm not going to use it because it'll stop the recording. But the continuous listening, what are they listening to? How about the emotions in the house? Love, anger, recognition. Maybe we're talking about travel and we're saying it excitedly because we want to go to Asia. And the next thing you know, we start getting bombarded with advertisements for Asian travel so that they know that we're excited about that opportunity. The children's privacy piece is actually a really big deal because children could be saying things and their voices could be recorded, and they could order items online or targeted advertising towards children. It's a major issue that we have. Now, let's move towards national security. I'm standing outside the USS John P. Murtha. This ship is an intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance vessel. It is designed to listen to enemy forces, much like the FA-18 Growler, the E-8 J-Stars, the RQ-1 Predator, the U-2 Dragon. Think about the U-2 flying at 80,000 feet, gathering data on enemy forces against the enemy's will. But now, on our wrists, on our phones, on our bodies, in our homes, iPods, Wyze security devices, Ecobee thermostats, Lisa and I have 37 devices in our home that have the same overall footprint in listening, control, surveillance, and reconnaissance of our voices 24 hours a day, monitoring us, much like the Truman Show. But now that security and misuse lies in the hands of not the director Christoph, but with Google, Apple, Facebook, and the apps and the devices that are listening to us. The challenge is that there's no transparency, there's no accountability. It's a significant issue. How do we hold those companies accountable for what they are doing with our biometric voices or emotional and health data? The privacy is of significant concern. In addition to that, some of the benefits are convenience, accessibility, security, and innovation. We can order things on Amazon with the simple request. Items are more accessible. We have security that we can monitor. Elderly person falls down. They can call for help while they're down and unable to get up. Those are great benefits. The innovation and what we can do to move forward, but without government control, our voices are being captured, as Joseph Turow mentions in the book. And we need to take a long, hard look at our First Amendment rights for freedom of speech, but also the security risk that is posed when our voices are grabbed during a data breach. And we need to take it seriously going forward. Thank you. Hey, Michael, we're actually on the John P. Murtha. They're listening. Be very quiet. So in the hangar bay of the USS Murtha, it's an amphibious assault ship, and these are some of the vehicles and weaponry right there that actually go out that submerged platform when they drop it against the enemy, because we are listening to them just like voice catchers.